You know, I keep seeing statements like this from people that are just so inherently backwards that I don't even know where to start. But you know what? I'll just go ahead and give you one more example. In a play written by Euripides called The Bacchae, which was performed for the first time live in 405 BCE at the Theater of Dionysus, there was a very interesting story told. A story that most Christians probably are not familiar with, but they really should be, and let me show you why. In this story by Euripides, again in 405 BC, he tells the story of Dionysus, the demigod, half man, half divine person who is trying to travel around and convert more people to his religious system. Now, one of the enemies of Dionysus is a man named Pentheus, who's traveling around looking for the followers of Dionysus that he might arrest them and have them persecuted to stop the spread of Dionysian culture. According to this play, while Pentheus is on his way to go find some followers of Dionysus to have them persecuted, he's met by an apparition of Dionysus himself. The demigod shows up magically and speaks to Pentheus. Dionysus says to him, "Better to yield him prayer and sacrifice than kick against the pricks, since Dionysus is God and thou art but mortal." Interestingly, when Paul first wrote about Jesus, about 20 to 30 years after Jesus would have died, and about 460 years after this play we just read was already well known and established in the Greco-Roman community, the exact same story is copied and said about Paul. Paul is on his way to Damascus to persecute some of the followers of Jesus Christ, who is another wine god, just like Dionysus. And on his way there, he's met with an apparition of the demigod Jesus, who says this, "Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks." So we see here that the authors of the New Testament, when speaking about Paul's conversion into becoming a disciple of Jesus Christ, it is literally identical to the conversion of Pentheus as he was attempting to attack and persecute the followers of Dionysus. Now, if you watch my Jesus is Dionysus YouTube video, which is a short documentary where I spell out many, many more connections between Jesus and Dionysus than even this. But for anyone to even attempt to say that the classics were copied off of the Holy Spirit inspired scriptures couldn't be more backward. These classics were written almost 500 years before Paul would write about the same fake stories. It's hard for thee to kick against the pricks. You got this a little bit backwards by 500 years.